Hey guys, and welcome to my Simon & Schuster event recap and book haul. As you just saw, I actually went to a Simon & Schuster event, and it was a middle grade YA upcoming releases for the summer and fall. And there were 5 authors that came to this event. The first author is Gareth Runski, and he is the author of Holly Farb and the Princess of the Galaxy, and this book comes out on June 6th of 2017. This is the cover for this book. First of all, it's gorgeous. I really like it. And I got that book signed by him. This sounds really cool, and the way that he described it is that an ambitious know-it-all girl gets mistaken for royalty by pirates who end up capturing her or kidnapping her, and she needs to escape. And it's set in outer space, which is something that he really likes. And it sounds really nice. I am not a huge fan of middle grade books, but I did really like the sound of this one, and that's why I picked up a copy, and I'm definitely going to check this one out. The next author that came is the author Kevin Sands, and he is the author of the Blackthorn Key series. I actually got the second book, The Mark of the Plague, and I also got it signed by him right here. And I do like the sound of this series. It's obviously adventure because that's what middle grade's all about. The first one is called The Blackthorn Key, the third one is called The Assassin's Curse, and it's set in 1665, at least the first one is, and the second one is set during the plague then. In The Assassin's Curse, which is the third book, they are actually in Paris, so it's actually set in Paris, and there's assassins, a treasure hunt. Sounds pretty cool. This one comes out, oh not this one, the third one, which is, like I said, The Assassin's Curse, comes out on September 5th of 2017. The third author is also Kevin, and it's Kevin Sylvester. He is the author of the Miners series. The second one is coming out on October 10th, 2017, and that's the one he was talking to us about. What this story is really about is, again, it's also set in outer space. And one thing he said that was funny was that he wrote this when Trump was running for president, and that was when he was writing it. And what's interesting is that the bad guy in this kind of exploits some of the things that Trump did during the election and how he won. So that's something really cool. And he said one thing is that this is not a happy, comforting book, and kids should know about reality, and that's what this book is really about, or this series. Lots of kids die. It's middle grade, there's no swearing, there's no explicit scenes, but it's pretty much not a fluffy book, more like a book for kids to relate them to what's really happening in the real world, and I really like the sound of that. Also, one note, Kevin Sylvester is hilarious. I don't know how many times I laughed during the lunch thing because of, she's just a very witty, funny man, and I just wrote here, hilarious author, just to show that, you know what, he's pretty fun. He's a really nice and funny guy. As for the YA books, there were 2 authors that came. One of them is Sajida Ali, author of Saints and Misfits, and this is under the imprint, one of the first books under the imprint Salam Reads for Simon & Schuster, and it basically publishes books by Muslim authors as well as characters that are Muslim, so just, you know, giving exposure to that. Saints and Misfits is depicting the life of a Muslim girl. So she's not the Muslim girl, but it is a story of a typical Muslim girl, and it's just one of the stories of the millions of Muslim girls that live all across the world. So I really like the sound of this one, and I'm definitely excited to read it. The next book is Siege of Shadows, and it is by Sarah Raleigh. It comes out on November 21, and it's actually a sequel to Fate of Flames. This book is, I will let you read it. It says it's an epic fantasy story starring someone who is young and a woman of color, and it talks about these girls who are basically superheroes, but they're also celebrities, so they're very much in the eye of the public, and it's very public knowledge that they are superheroes, and they have to deal with that aspect as well as trying to like capture the evil person. And I really like the sound of this one. One of the bloggers that I know really loved it, so I'm very excited to pick this one up. Okay, I'm gonna move on and mention a couple of books that were talked about, but I don't own a copy of and I didn't get a copy of. One of them is Karma Cooler's Mustache. She's actually a biracial main protagonist. She's 15 years old, and basically it's a struggle of her growing up and being a bit different from other people. And what happens is that she actually ends up growing a mustache and she gets really bullied for that. And it's just basically a coming of age story told from her point of view. And this one comes out on August 15 of 2017. Another one is a cover that I am so in love with because it's just so pretty, and it is Miss Smith's Spy School for Girls. This one comes out on July 4th, and it's just about a girl who's in a spy school. Some YA May releases that everyone's excited about. The first one is Jenny Han's Always and Forever, Laura Jean. This is a third book in the Laura Jean series, or the To All the Boys I've Loved Before series. I have no idea what it's called. This one comes out on May 2nd, and I'm dreading and anticipating it because I wasn't a big fan of the second book because I felt that Laura Jean kind of had a change in personality. So I'm hoping that this one goes back to how it was for the first book in terms of how much I liked it. The next one is Lord of Shadows, and it is obviously by Cassandra Clare. Right here. This one comes out on May 23rd, and it is the second book. The first one being Lady Midnight. Haven't read it. The first one, I mean, I do own an arc of it, but I have not read it. And yeah, to all the Cassandra Clare fans, I'm pretty sure you guys are excited for this one. The last one is the one I'm most excited from this list, and it is When Dimple Met Rishi, and this one comes out on May 30th. I just love the idea of this one. So both characters are POC, and it's just a romance contemporary story, and apparently it's very beloved. To anyone who's read it, they fall in love with it. So I'm very excited, and I'm hoping that it's as good as everyone's saying it is. And this one comes out on May 30th. I'm pretty sure I've said that before. Okay, a couple of other YA anticipated titles. One of them is The Potion Diaries Going Viral. I think this is a third book, and it comes out on October 31st of 2017. She's a Canadian author, and the first one is actually, I don't know if you guys know or knew that, but the first book was before, it was titled Madly, and they had a cover and a title change, and it's now going by The Potion Diaries. So this one looks cool. One that is by Simon & Schuster, Canada's first Canadian author that they've published, is Zero Repeat Forever. This one is a sci-fi urban dystopian alien army comes to Earth, and it's during and the aftermath attack and how the people are surviving. The main character is a human girl, and there's also the alien, and they end up getting in a situation where they have to depend on each other to survive, and the story goes on from there. And this one comes out on August 29th of 2017. The book I'm most anticipating in this whole year is The Becoming of Noah Shaw by Michelle Hodkin. If you guys know me, you know that Becoming of Mara Dyer is one of my all-time favorite trilogies or series or books that I've ever read. And to know that the story is going to continue on after the third book, but from Noah Shaw's point of view, I'm so excited because there's so many things that were left open, and it was just a very open-ended ending that I'm so excited for this one. I'm hoping that I get an arc of this because November 7th is so far away. The last book to talk about is The Diabolic, and it's by S.J. Kincaid, and it's not the Diabolic, that's the first book. The second one is called The Empress, and it comes out on October 31, 2017. We don't know anything about it, not the synopsis or the title. Oh, we know the title or the cover, but we shall soon. But yes, a lot of bloggers loved this book, so I really want to pick it up and see what the hype's about. So now I'll be talking about a couple of the books that I actually own. The first one is The Nowhere Girls by Amy Reed. This book is inspired by the Stanford rape that happened last year, and in this, one of the girls ends up getting gang raped by people from the football team, and they get away with it because no one believed her. And 3 girls end up forming something called the Nowhere Girls in order to expose them, and you know, just because these things just really make me frustrated. But it talks about the story of these 3 girls as well as them coming together trying to expose that, and it's just a very multi-layered story with different storylines as well as a big one, and it's a multiple POV one, and the publicist said that it's an uncomfortable but very important read, and this one comes out in October of 2017. The next one that I have is The Last Magician, and this one is by Lisa Maxwell. This one comes out in July of 2017, and the publicist said that this reminded her of Fantastic Beasts, And the tagline says here, "Stop the magician, steal the book, and save the future." I love books with magicians and magic in them. And just knowing that, you know, magicians are being hunted and such, it sounds really interesting to me. But it's a 500-page book. But the publicist said it's totally worth it, so I'm going to believe in the publicist. And hopefully I end up really enjoying this one too. If you only knew that this was attempt number 4 of filming this video. So basically, every time I would film this video, I don't know, first time I finished filming this video, I go and watch, and I only filmed 6 minutes, so basically less than half of what I was talking about. Second time I go film it, it filmed again a little bit less. Now, I had to go and delete some things because apparently I blabber on too much, and the damn camera keeps on cutting off, so that's just great. So now I'm going to be talking about an author that is being heavily pushed by Simon & Schuster. The book that I got from Jason Reynolds is Ghost, and it is a National Book Award finalist. This book talks about this guy who is... His game has always been ball, but he impulsively challenges an elite sprinter to a race and actually ends up winning the race. So an Olympic medalist track coach sees him, and then wants him on the team because of his natural talent. So the thing is that Ghost has a lot of anger and a past that he tries to outrun. So can he actually harness his raw talent for the speed and mettle with the team, or will his past finally catch up to him? I really like the sound of this one because I'm a big fan of sports-related movies, shows, books. I just love sports-related stuff. And I like that the character is POC, and I love the cover. And it's less than 200 pages, so I'm going to fly through this book. And the second book is actually told from the perspective of one of the characters in the team, so it's about their story, and it's called Patina. And this one comes out on end of August of 2017. I'm going to be talking to you about 2 books that I ended up getting from one of the publicists because I told her that I'm a huge lover of mystery thrillers, adult mystery thrillers, and I wanted her to recommend me some, so she ended up getting these 2 for me. The first one is The Cutaway by Christina Kovac. This is about a newscast woman. My cat. What in the world is she doing? And she's a producer of DC's top-rated evening news program, and then she starts obsessing over this case where a woman ended up suddenly disappearing and no one knew anything about her. But the more she digs in, the deeper things become, and she ends up finding out that powerful people are connected to this, and then basically it's clear that to uncover the truth, she'll have to risk her sanity, her career, and perhaps her life. So I'm really excited to check this one out. And the second one is one that I've actually seen at Indigo, and I've read the synopsis at Indigo, and I was like, oh my god, sounds so cool. So I'm so happy that she ended up giving me a copy. And it's The Woman in Cabin 10. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this one, but it's pretty much, it's in the bestseller list. And this one talks about this writer who ends up, she's a travel writer. She ends up going on a cruise, you know, and everything is all dandy, like a luxurious cruise and such. And then one night when it was like raining heavily and such, she ends up waking up and sees a woman's body sink in the ocean or the sea. I'm not sure where she is at this point. And she ends up telling people like, who's this woman, blah, 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 but everyone's accounted for and no one's believing her. So she ends up having to just figure out what in the world is going on, and I'm just getting the shivers just thinking about it. So this is definitely a book I'm very excited about. I'm going to be picking this one up right after I finish the Sophie Kinsella book that I'm currently reading, because this is just totally my type of book. And this is everything. Finally, we're at the end of this video. I think it took me like an hour and a half to fully film this because I kept on getting interrupted. And hopefully I'm not getting interrupted now. I hope so. And this is pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and you're informed. I really do hope that. Let me know which books you're excited about reading from what I've shown you, as well as if you do want, let me know an anticipated book that's not on here or that I haven't mentioned that you are excited to pick up in 2017. And I hope I see you guys in my next video, and have a great day. Bye!